So, Deltarune Chapter 5 recently released, and I'm not gonna lie, this chapter was a bang. I love the soundtrack, I love the bosses, and I love the new mechanics. But after playing it, I was like, what can I make this benefit? Now, I actually started making this a while before Chapter 5 release, so that I could have a bit of a head start. I should also specify that I will only recreate the final boss of the chapter. So I started recreating the movement in 3D, and in this game you will be seeing everything through a first-person camera view. I also added 2D and roleplay and made them follow the player. I would also like to shout out the sprite racers, where I got all the assets from. Without this website, this video would be snow great. And I mean, just look at how good these look. Then I started recreating the combat in 3D. Now, I originally had the default combat system of the Red Soul, because so far every single final boss had the default soul mechanic, and only the secret bosses had different mechanics. However, for some reason this chapter's final boss had a different mechanic with an orange soul. Now, I originally hated this, but this was actually like way better. You see, if I was going to recreate the default combat, then you would need to control 3 axes. It would get confusing. However, the combat system with the orange soul would only need 2 axes, which the player is already used to from the original game. So, thanks for that, Mr. Fox. Also, this video will be split into different parts. If you want to see more, like and subscribe, and if this video gets enough likes, I will do a second part. Then I had to make the battle UI, which is pretty easy. And with that, you can select what action will different characters do. I also had to animate sprites, which I just used flickbook note in material. Oh, and I created this transition between battle. Anyways, for this part I only recreated his 3 main attacks. Now, the way it works is that at the start of the battle it spawns a battle box under the level, with a camera to render the area on the UI, and the player's soul. Then, after the player chooses their move, and it's the enemy's turn, then the attacks spawn and move towards the player. It was pretty easy to implement, and just kidding out. Moving on, it was a little different for the second attack, however, because in this attack it charges at the player faster and faster, which the player has to repel. It took a little while, but eventually I got it working perfectly. Kinda. Okay, listen, I have to get this video out quickly, so shut up. Anyways, that will be it for part 1. As you can see, there is still a lot of stuff missing, like the background or the selection menu. So again, if you want to see more, like and subscribe, and if this video gets enough likes, I will do a second part. For now, I will leave you with some gameplay. Enjoy.